Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to Emily's Energy Corner. I hope you guys have had a great week. The weather has been crazy all over the country, so I am still thinking of all of you and praying for you and your pets and the animals that are out there because, wow, they need all the help we can get right now. Am I right? It's freezing, it's fires, it's rain, it's unbelievable. And so let's just go in. We had Tim Ray on the line today. He's the founder of the United Intentions Foundation, and I was so blessed to be linked up with him. It was really a friend of mine did me a solid and booked me on his show, and I was on the show Good Intentions, and we just really hit it off. And I live in the south of the United States, and there are few and far between people that really live a high vibe, conscious life. And that doesn't mean that there's not a lot of them here, but there's certainly not as many here as I've found on other parts of the country, especially out on the West Coast. And when I find people that are part of my group, my tribe, I hang on tight to them because they're rare and they're beautiful, beautiful souls. And there's something so magical about coming across people that you really feel like you've known, and you probably have, that you rekindle the connection with them. And you look and you think, there you are. There you are. Where have you been? I'm so glad to have you back in this life and find you. And the first time that ever happened to me, I was taking a training and I walked around a corner and this girl was walking around the corner and we bumped into each other and it was like, there you are. I've been looking for 25, 27 years for you. Where have you been? So glad you're here. It was this like amazing thing. And then we went to introduce ourselves and she said her name and she said she's a massage therapist and yoga instructor. And I said my name and that I was a massage therapist and a yoga instructor. And by the end of the day, she came and spent the night at my house because she was from out of town and taught my yoga class for me. And we were like inseparable ever since. And we were in each other's weddings. We've just come a long way, but it was one of those really amazing deep level encounters that don't happen that often. So I get so excited when I meet like-minded, really loving, highly spiritually energy charged people. So Tim Ray, founder of United Intentions. If you guys haven't had a chance to ever listen to any of the shows, go check it out. And they now have that Wake Up Atlanta. It's a conscious TV show. It's like a news channel, but without all the heartbreak of the news, and it's a conscious way to start your day. So they're pretty amazing over there. So, I was thinking this week, what is my message for Emily's Energy Corner this week? And, the thought that I have is really around women and our support of women. And it was because I watched this video and the woman was talking about the way that she's been treated through her life and then coming into the realization that she's this beautiful goddess and really falling in love with herself. And it's interesting because, women kind of know this, and, that they dress up not to impress the men because the men don't care. They dress up to impress the other women. Right? They want to have that approval from other women. It's what they wear, how they look, how they present themselves. As a majority, we do this for our women counterparts. The men would be okay if we show up naked, I think, or at least a lot of them. And I don't mean disrespect to the men because the men come in with a very different energy. But the women around the world tend to do this for each other. And I was thinking about how sad it is that there are cultures around the world that take these beautiful women and they cut their face with glass to make them imperfect. And when I was a school teacher, there was a girl, she was from Korea, and she was talking about that in the Korean culture, the women are just vile and vicious to each other. And that weekend, she had experienced this almost like a gang, this Korean girl gang, and they took this really pretty girl and they put her against the sidewalk with her face, and they were kicking her face in to go against the sidewalk to screw up the cheek and never to recover and have that flawless skin. And I cannot even imagine in the world having an intention to bring such pain and anguish onto someone, and how that could make people feel better in any way, shape, or form, to ruin somebody's life. And it just, for some reason, I haven't heard the story I haven't heard the story in nearly 20 years, but for some reason it started coming up this week. And I don't know if it's just because of what's kind of going on in the world right now, but we as women and as men need to lift each other up more than ever before right now. We need to come together as a collective and bring each other to a better place. I want people to feel better for having been in the same space as me. I don't want people to feel like they have to recover themselves or burn sage because I was in the room with them or shared space with them, or because what I have to offer doesn't feel clean energetically. And that's a big deal, and it's happening everywhere. And I think it's people are really waking up, and then other people are going to sleep. And Tim made a talk about that. When you start to listen to other people's intention, or when you start to listen to other people's beliefs, even if they're poisonous, if you haven't sort of defined your own and gotten on your own path, you start to make those beliefs your own. And you start to believe things that are negative and nasty, and they become your beliefs, but they were never your beliefs. And you never stop to question, do I actually believe in this? And collectively, this is kind of happening around the world right now, especially in our country. The racist people are coming out in droves. I mean, in droves. People are feeling very entitled to display hate all over the place. And it personally, for me, it makes me so sad. And it makes me less inclined to be open to who's around me and what's going on. And it makes me very, very picky about who I'm sharing space with. I've become really, really protective of my space and my energy and my time. And I don't mean it in a way that sounds arrogant. It's just that I need to be around people that make me feel better for being around them, and not for making me feel less than. And, it's interesting. I have a couple of thoughts on that. When I did the yoga teacher training, we had to fill out a journal every day. And my favorite question was, how much time spent in the company of the wise? Every day, how much time have you spent around people that you consider wise? Like a wise counselor, good people. How much time spent in the company of the wise? And then right underneath that question was, how much time spent in the company of the fool? Because how many people do we put ourselves around that maybe bring us down? Or like for me, being around somebody like Tim is very exciting for me because he's such a hard worker and he doesn't stop. I've been working like crazy. I've got my next book coming out. I defend my thesis for my graduate degree tomorrow. I've been writing the thesis and getting ready. And when people ask me, what have you been doing? It's hard to say, well, I've been working on my radio show on healthylife.net, and I have this show all about healing, and I'm under contract for the next book, and I'm finishing my master's degree, and I've got my children at home, and I've got this great life. And you don't want to say that because it makes people almost angry. It almost elicits a mad response, and they take it personally. Like, okay, you're doing all that, well, I suck. Okay, I'm doing nothing. And it has nothing to do with anybody else. So when you're in that place, it's like a highway of energy. And when you're in that place and you're working so hard to make things happen, you kind of have no choice really but to put yourself with people that are on that highway too. Because then it's not a tit for tat game, and it's not a comparison game, and it certainly is not, I've gotten to where I don't talk about it as much because people, they get their feelings hurt, or they feel like it has something to do with them when it just doesn't. It has nothing to do with anybody else. And I've been working like crazy, and I want to be able to claim that magic and that manifest, because it takes a lot of work to show up every day for the same goal, for the same one book or the same degree. It's hard, but it can be done. So for you guys, the thing for this week is be your best self. And I don't mean that, take away that little energy, but do try to be better and not worry so much about other people. Make yourself the best that you can possibly be, and then put yourself around those kinds of people. You guys, this has been Emily's Energy Corner. Make it a great week, and we'll see you back here next Wednesday. You've been listening to All About Healing. Thanks for being here.